Hello everyone, welcome to the Advancement Centre and welcome once again to the world of magic and miracles. As we connect to one another and we feel our essence join, you feel a lift, just as if you were taking off in an aeroplane. And you feel something that we've never mentioned before. That's the essence of every being interacting with you to lift. That essence is coming into the world very strongly now. And if you use it, it will take all the load off you. It's something that you can't describe, but you know it comes from everyone. And that's why your presence is multidimensional, so that that interaction that you need to generate the beautiful energies that you can't describe. And I just lost where I was. I get so involved in the presence of that energy, where each one of us is encouraging one another to be the best we can ever be. Not the best by any standards, but the best we can be by no standard. The best we can feel, the best we can produce, not by any standard or not to meet any requirement. As that grows in us, we're going to find that we're actually heading back into the world in a big way, because we're stretching that world and it's allowing us in. That beautiful interaction is expanding everything, and the parts of the world that we thought were closed off are actually alive, totally alive, alive with presence that we don't even have to acknowledge. Just the smile on your face, the essence of your being almost leaping out of your body, and the brilliance in your eyes attracting everyone. Now that this is all happening, the physical things that we had focused on really don't mean much. Achieving the things that we wanted to achieve really don't even come into the equation, because they're happening without us planning anything. Everything we planned sort of gone out the window because events around us keep changing to make it better. Even if we try to do exactly what we did last year, it turns out different. It actually produces an elegance in all the people around us and in all the world around us that we never felt before. The change into the winter season has actually given us a lift, which is a little surprising, because in the summer you say, well, I'm not really looking forward to the winter. But in fact, it's arrived and it's lifting us because it's different. It's nowhere near the same as we can ever remember. And the fact that we can actually generate heat for one another, comfort, excitement, you name it. It's all keeping us so occupied that we're welcoming the beautiful change in everything around us. We have no idea where we're going. But inside us, there's something that says, we have no idea, but we know exactly what we're doing. We know exactly every step, and we know exactly the minimum that we expect. Problem is that expectation keeps getting blown away by something that's totally different and totally better every second. So as we interact with one another, there's a whole new aroma that fills our breath and fills our world, because it has something we've never heard of before. It has the aroma of life that we never used. As you have people in your field, there is a change in that. And you know that an aroma is not just a smell, it actually changes your physical being. You get a beautiful flower and all of a sudden everything changes in your body and everything around you just grows. And the aroma of life is so many times more potent that as you feel it, so does everybody else. And it doesn't need an explanation, it just needs more. More of whatever it is. It's like the ads, I'll have more of that, or I'll have what she's got. That's where we are every minute. And as soon as we see or feel that essence, we rise to the occasion. So if we see and feel it all the time, we're rising to the occasion all the time. To the extent you think, I'm taking off and I've got no control. But then you go, who cares? I'm going to take it on anyway. So that's what happens with disturbing every moment. You feel that you know everything's there, just disturb it. And you'll find there's a million more things pop out in front of you. And you don't have to ask how to disturb a moment. You just do it. And the whole lot changes. And you keep doing it every moment. There are no instructions. But it's good to talk to one another about it. It's good to experience things and then put it on the internet. Put your experiences out so that the whole basis of life in a social network has changed. It's going that way. Even when they use statistics, the numbers of positive posts are enormous. Those statistics don't mean anything because behind the negative post there's always a totally positive person, a totally positive outcome required. A bit of craziness in the application is going to disappear because people will come back and take the rough edges off and it'll turn into something beautiful. We've got no need for anything apart from us. And that sounds a little bit off when you get into the old definitions. Because you start getting this list. Well, what about this? What about that? What about that? Do I need some of this? I want clothes, I want food. That is you. Everything that comes into your world is part of you. Where it comes from, how you get it, all the rest of it, does not matter. As long as you can see that that's you. You stand in front of a mirror and you put the right coat or dress on and you say, yeah, that's me. If it's not the right one, that's not me. You know. Everything around you comes into the same format. So all you need is you. And if you're demonstrating you through everything you have, you then start to forget about the fact that you don't need to have anything because it's you anyway. You extend past the limit of what you can see to the area that only you can see, and then to the area that everybody feels and knows and smiles about. When they look at you, they feel it. When you look at them, you feel them. The crazy thoughts are not there anymore. As you walk through the streets, you don't even pick up the crazy thoughts that you used to pick up. You don't get stuck with major smog in a shopping mall or disturbance. If you're watching a movie at a show, you use all that movement to enhance your own world. And in enhancing your own world way past anything you can explain. All the rest of it is being thanked and improved and clarified, if that's a good word. We've stepped forward in many, many ways. But now we're going to step forward in a much bigger way. We're going to dive right back into the physical. Bring every part of us. Not split ourselves in any way. Carry and live our multiple personalities. Demonstrate them all. And watch people enjoy every moment. I wrote something this morning that said, continue in your free fall until you get past the clouds. It will all open up and be just as you thought it should be. And this is where we're going, in that free fall, going right through all the stuff that we think is actually real, to come out the other side and see the reality that we know we came to. So as you step forward, you'll feel every movement controlled by something outside you, just like free falling through the clouds. As long as you keep moving forward, or keep falling if you like, you will pop into a new world, just like you do in an aeroplane coming down through the clouds and you don't know how high the clouds are. But the pilot knows. And as you drop through the clouds, it seems like there's a great expanse of beauty there below you. This is what we're doing as we bring ourselves totally, with all our gifts, back into the world. And the funny thing is, we find out that the world of our Creator exists here too. Got that friendly fly again. So here we go, out into the blue yonder, if you like, wondering what we're going to do next. And we're being told, just live. Just live as fully as you possibly can and see what happens. You don't have to have any rules and you don't have to follow anything. You just live and feel and actually experience the aroma of life. It's one of those things that I've always known. And occasionally people will say, well, what is that I can feel around you? And it's the aroma that comes from actually living and interacting with all the fields and knowing that there's much, much more than what we've been taught, because I experience it. There are many people that are going through the stage of actually convincing themselves that they can get well. They can return to a condition that they can work with. And they don't really need to give that job to anyone else. And with our interaction and the little things that we produce to help them along, there's going to be a lot of people that just burst into this new world and say, come on, it's not quite big enough yet for me. Stretch it further. And the inclusion of all these people, old and young, will bring us to where we can all fit in the expanded world, even though we think it's limited by physical measurement. Each time I write something, I get a new perspective. But besides that, there's a new channel opens that gives me access to something I've never touched before. And I haven't been writing that much this week. But in the last couple of days, as I wrote, more channels opened to more people, rather than more channels open to the universe. And so it's starting to balance that communication network, that silent one that's got nothing to do with transferring energy or stealing it, that's the right word. It's to do with transmitting through something that we didn't know was possible. But it's a direct channel of communication of all sorts of things that's opening up, for me, to every person, more so than it ever has before. I could physically turn that on when I'm talking so that I can communicate with everyone. But now it's all opening by itself. And it's bigger and freer and totally two-way. So that whatever interaction any of us need, it enhances one another's lives. And besides that, the part of your being that has all sorts of questions becomes satisfied by the feeling of the communication, by the feeling of one another's presence around us, even though we're at a distance. Many of the people that I connect with, I have never met in real terms, but I know them all. And if I ever do meet them, I won't know their name, but I'll say, "Hi, how you going? Good to see you again." Just like you're all starting to feel that sense of more than just a connection, it's brother and sister type connection to people in the world that you don't think you're related to. Our measure of being a relative is quite different from a universal sense, particularly when you have no time and space. And you don't have hierarchy. So very hard to get your brain around. But there's something inside you that knows you're connected. There's something inside you that knows you've been together for eons. And the feeling of separation that came with the initial times on Earth is no longer there. So the more we start to talk about advancement, the more we will advance into that area where we know one another. More than intimately. We know one another in every sense of every word, from every dimension, on and off this earth. And as we bring that security into each one of our lives, the world's not a bad place. It actually is one of the best creations of all times. And all the stuff we see out there actually belongs to this world, even though they measure it as being older and more responsive, as us being a young planet. But that doesn't mean anything when you view it from Earth. When you view everything from anywhere else, it takes a different form. It doesn't change slowly. Wherever you are, wherever you look, it's different. So this is one of the perspectives that goes with nonlinear movement, no space and time. There is a separate picture for everything in every place, for everyone to experience, even though the artist can put it all together in one picture. It's a little bit like the question, does the tree make a noise if it falls in the forest? Or does it only make a noise if you're there? There is no answer to that because you're not there. But you can see if a tree falls. You can feel it, you know it, and you know if it's okay. You can hear through a major lot of senses that have got nothing to do with your ears. And the more we interact with one another, the more we hear one another, the more we answer one another without question, without even speech. You'll respond to what somebody has put out. And you don't even think about it after a while, because that is what produces the harmony of movement that's often demonstrated in workshops where they get people to shut their eyes and walk from one side of the room to the other and not run into one another. And it always works. Always. So we're doing that day after day after day now. And we're not disturbing one another's presence. We're enhancing it. We spoke about it many times, but now we're experiencing it. Now we're passing it on to one another through that communication channel that opens up out of nowhere and connects you to another person, another group of people, another planet, another entity, or just your own being. One of the things that I found I had very little control over was that I had to progress with I suppose you'd call it research, because a channel opened for me to give me all that information way before I even looked at where that was going. And some years ago, we brought out the concept of working beyond technology in the industry of magic and miracles. And at that time, as normal, everyone thought I was crazy. Now, it's physically happening, and I get pushed into actually demonstrating it. And it's building to the extent where we actually know exactly what we're doing, which is a bit strange because I had no training in anything. But the delivery of the data that's been around you for eons is now coming forward. And I encourage everyone to take on whatever comes to them without thought. There are many totally advanced engineers, artists, dancers, singers, whatever, sitting in the background thinking that they're past it, or they haven't got a job, or I can do that if I had some money, or I wish someone had shown me. And in fact, we started all this with nothing. Not even. We started using some old plastic bottles and a bit of salt water. And now we've built up to where we can make you just about anything. And we understand how the various things work because we tried them. And not because we listened to the Keshe Foundation that confirmed what we'd already built. And every one of you will be encouraged by going with what is yours rather than doing what you were encouraged to do previously and stand back and say, I want. Why isn't the world giving it to me? And in fact, you're here to give to the world and generate from nothing the field that will not only attract everything you could possibly need, it will generate it. It will make it appear. And if you happen to look back at everything you've got, you'll say, where did I get all that? I didn't even earn that much money. How the heck did all this come together? Because some of the most valuable things we've got are the plastic jars that we started with, and the little bits of copper and nano-coated copper and zinc that we've got in there. One of the most valuable tools we have. They were leftovers. A few things we bought, but no more than $5. And then we're now in a position where we're proving that there is an industry of magic and miracles. And it's physical. The magic and the miracles are generated by the people and amplified by what we've been making. The comfort that comes from the fact that you can go past your limitations without even asking anybody and not even knowing you went past them until you've gone past is amazing. The very thing that used to stop you, you can't even find anymore. The major thought patterns that have been generated between people for many, many thousands of years, all of a sudden melted into nothing. And you're able to walk around saying, I used to think like that. I don't know what I did to not do that. So I can't help anyone. You can just follow me. I'm doing well. So there is no method. There is no answer. And unfortunately, they made an industry for people to go around stopping people. And it's called criticism or critics or something like that all the time. Or the other side of the fence or another opinion, all there to put the brakes on. And now you can't find any of them in your life. You wouldn't even know where to look for them. It doesn't even come up on your Facebook page. Because that part of the world that was manufactured disappeared because of the world of magic and miracles. So one of the greatest miracles is that you don't have to know how anything works. You just have to do it. Or even not do it. That's fine as well. And life will continue. I often think about the word destiny because it comes up in my writing every now and then. And each person's destiny, whether it's predetermined or not, changes every minute. And so when someone talks about their destiny and others say, well, there's no such thing, or it doesn't work, in fact, it is a predetermined path. It's just like the predetermined path of the growth of a tree. It's not anything we can predetermine, but it's predetermined. Otherwise, it doesn't grow into a tree. So we have a predetermined total mystery surrounding us, such that we'll never run into one another, we'll never disturb one another, will never compete. We just demonstrate the beauty of that destiny and how it forms up as life. And if you know that, it's worth knowing you have a predetermined destiny. Because in that, there's a safety that allows you to just go for it. And it's a little bit like if you try to run off the edge of something, something will go out and grab you and pull you back. And as long as you know that's going to happen, you just keep going. And you will be guided, even if you've got your eyes shut. So we might just take a little break, and in that time, feel that destiny. Don't look for the end of it. Feel the movement of it. Feel the mystery of where it's going and what it's doing and how it's building around you. And the strength that you're generating in a world that's not affected by anybody in any other way except to enhance yours. So we'll be back in 5 minutes. Thank you. Welcome back. So I'm pleased that you could feel the sense of that security and destiny. It will carry you forever. Not just the time you're here, but the time you are everywhere. And while we speak, more channels will open because of the safety that you feel. As those channels open, you will feel a friendliness and a warmth from all areas of the universe. But more so, you will feel the expansive part of the world that you just dived into. The one that you prepared by stretching everything, as we spoke about last week. You have made the world grow to the level that you expected when you first started to head into the world. And now you're going to multiply that by whatever number you feel like, because you know how to expand life in its true essence. As we try to put things together in our mind, it shrinks everything. And so there's a little bit of a trick that I'll show you. If you look into your mind and look intensely into your mind, just like someone's too close to you looking into your eyes, it shrinks. And you can feel the champagne bubbles around your head. And you're back connected to your Creator. And then you know that those eyes that are too close to yours are actually yours, looking into the image that you were presenting to the world. And now there is nothing to stop us in any way for any reason. You have an expanded physical presence because you just shut down the limiting field that was built over many centuries. So if you show this trick to too many people, they'll be too happy and you won't know what to do with yourself. It's part of the program of simplicity. It puts you straight back online with the universal program that actually runs who you are. I think it's a pretty cool trick. And you'll probably forget about it because you'll be doing it so often because it feels good. Then all your personalities become one. As complex as that might sound, all your personalities, all your foibles, if you like, all become one. And they're totally connected to the right place, and they're not separated from anything. So now there are many more things that you can do to transform the operating system that you work with. Much of it I'll leave to you, but every now and then I'll just show you a small trick so that you know who's in control. It's you. And it's your world. And it's your life. And it's your excitement. And it's your beauty. The fact that you see it in the eyes of others doesn't mean it's theirs. It means you have enhanced theirs. So as your brain tries to come back online, it will attempt to get rid of the champagne bubbles. Just look straight back in and connect everything. And you're back. And in your day, if that takes, I suppose it's less than 0.2 a second, isn't it? You've got to do it a lot of times to waste any time. So if you do it 50,000 times in a day, who cares? You're going to find you're doing it in 0 time. And it will just maintain you continually in that beautiful sparkle that's moving everywhere, every second. As we go further into the practical parts of our life, you'll just bring it online whenever you feel like it. And you find that in doing that, all the things that you thought you had to do get done by someone else. Even though if it looks like you're doing it, it's done by somebody else. You feel yourself building something or walking somewhere or talking to somebody or searching for something on the computer, and all of a sudden it just pops up. And you think, I saw my hands move, but I didn't do that. And that's not my voice. And it'll happen over and over and over. And you'll know that you're not alone in handling everything that you said you would handle to present yourself in this world. It's a conglomerate effort. And each one of you have your own team. Totally separate team of many thousands. So they used to talk about your guardian angels. That's true. They talk about the fairies. That's true. They talk about the other side. That's true. They talk about other dimensions. That's true. The space beings. That's true. Can I keep going? Now you can feel them because they were just acknowledged. And that's all you have to do. Quickly flick through them all and see if you can find some more. And there'll be some jumping up and down in front of you and saying, what about me? And you can feel it. And eventually they'll come through as well. And those who used to disturb you will be so happy that they don't have to disturb you anymore, because they're only disturbing you to get communication. They drive you crazy because you weren't taking any notice. But if you take notice of everyone and everything, you think through your brain, you're going to go crazy. It's impossible. So you just look straight back in your eyes again. Feel champagne bubbles. Boom. All the logic's gone. And everything works perfectly all the time. No matter what situation your body is in, it will change if it needs to. It will shut down if it's tired. It will stay awake if it thinks it's going to miss out on something. It will be warm in the freezing waters of the Antarctic if it's got to prove something. It won't burn if you walk on hot coals. It'll do all these things. And you think you had to control it. No. has its own control system, and it has its own helpers. You don't have to look after your body if you are you. You only have to look after your body if you think you're your body. We'll generate more and more of this so that you can see that you don't have to fix anything. The power of the control systems that are in your body is such that as soon as they get you out of the road, it heals. They stick you under anaesthetic and they can cut you up, sew you up, do whatever they like, and the body gets better. As soon as you get involved, oh, I'm in trouble. So know that if you look very closely into yourself and you see and you feel yourself totally connected, all the mechanisms, all the assistance, all the magic and miracles will appear instantly. So we've pushed you a little bit, taken you to where you go, oh, I don't know about that. And we're not going to bring you back. Because it's up to you all to experiment, to take yourself to where you know it's impossible, and then melt the knowing and see what that does. The little trick of melting that knowing and melting the mind, done at the right time, will produce miracles. Miracles beyond anything you've ever known. Because you've just picked a space where you know all the facilities that are available. If you can just get your own control out of the road. And I just showed you how to do that. 0.2 of a second. Do it any longer, you'll burn your brain out. You have to do it, connect, and let go. Then you can actually turn around and look from the back of your head out through your own eyes, and you'll see a different world. We have a big task ahead of us that has nothing to do with any of that. And that's the task of life. All the things we can play around in, or play around with, take up a very, very small part of life. But everyday life still goes on. So as that comes into your field, and it becomes what I call a no-brainer, you just live, you'll find that it's light, it's elegant, it's exciting, and you want to do things. You want to do more than what you normally do. You know, if you're at home and you even see that the floor's a little bit dirty, you'll say, I don't want to do that right now. I want to do more. And so the task we have ahead is to fill that part of the world for everyone with excitement on projects, on art, on interaction, on making that silent communication system the major part of our life. So that as you're walking around, you're connected with somebody or something or another planet, but it's happening every moment. And that task is the biggest task we have. And that's why I say you will work it perfectly if you use the program of simplicity. No matter what you do, what you say, what you feel, what you think, simplicity. No complexity. You feel that if somebody touches this spot on their body, they will fix themselves. That's it. You don't need anything else. Simplicity. You walk away and it's done. Practice simplicity in everything you do. Then you'll find you didn't realise it, but it did sweep the floor. Because you were so busy with everything else, your body just took over and swept the floor, and you didn't take any notice. Or you jumped in the car and went shopping. But you're still busy with simplicity. And all the things that used to break down around you, they will either not break down, or something will replace them very quickly. Because in simplicity, it goes so far into the complex operations of life that you don't have to do anything except maintain simplicity. A bit like on your computer, you know, if each time you go to do something you say, oh, I'm not used to this program, it's too new, I'll switch to the old program, you lose it. Your computer doesn't even like it. It quite often dies. And that's what happens to people. When they go back to the old program and say this is easier, but in fact it's more complex, they're used to it, they lose all sense of newness, so they deteriorate and die. We are moving towards the opposite. Where the least you do, the more you're energized, the greater your interaction with the universe, the less thinking, the more your body will regenerate. So as you melt that control that's been built, you are actually allowing the magic of your own being to open up and rebuild itself. And that's what happens with the miracle. Someone actually gets to that brick wall, or has an accident, or goes through a circumstance that's more than they ever thought they could possibly stand. They break out the other side. They're either replaced or they're regenerated, and they're a new person. And you call that a miracle. This is where we're going. We're living in a world of magic and miracles that we decided would have the miracles things. The magic is fun, but we don't have to use it if we have miracles all the time, because the magic is around miracles. So now, if we stay in tune with everyday life by means of simplicity, which is the only thing that each one of you can do without any training. The simpler it is, the more effect you have on the world and on the universe and on yourself. Take your brain out of the equation, all the helpers are in, all the energies in the universe are in, and you're totally busy with playing with simplicity and watching the miracles pour out of you and around you every minute. We've got about 5 minutes to go, and I'm going to cut off a little bit short because I believe nothing, and I see and feel that you're all in simplicity mode. And I'd hate to go past that and cause it any harm, because simplicity has nothing to do with time or space or anything else. It's yours to develop and communicate with. So enjoy every minute, and remember, love one another more than you can ever love before. And it will all work. Thank you. See you again next week. Bye.